For starters, we have New York City, which is the craziest city in the world, I would say. And well, obviously, it's smaller than Mexico City. We know that, but we have the same number of citizens. And what I noticed from living in New York is that everything is faster, and that no one has time for your shit, basically. So you could be one more there or one less there. No one cares. You're just one more person in New York City. That frightens a lot of people, but I guess that having the experience in living in Mexico City and being abroad 1 year didn't make like much of an impact for me to moving to New York, because I was hearing that from a lot of students, not just from international countries, but also from all around the US, saying that the city is overwhelming, that it's huge, that it's so fast, that they make them homesick. But I was happy. I was in a happy place. And but New York is very free, as you know, as you heard. So there's spaces and there's everything for everyone. So you don't necessarily have to fit in to a specific group. There's everything for everyone all the time in New York, which makes things easier. However, you have to search it. It's like everything is there. We give you every tool, but you have to do it yourself and go for it. So that's New York. And for the school itself, like I said, it was very hard to get in because all the application process for the US, it's terribly hard. It's annoying, it's exhausting. But I feel relieved once that I got in. I was also nervous to see was if I was at the same level as the other students. And funny enough, what I noticed is that international students were better prepared more than US students, because we have more obstacles to get into the school. So therefore, we get to our first year more prepared than the US students. I had students I shared with some classmates. I noticed that they didn't know what filmmaking was or what the whole process means. They just like films. They just like watching films. They enjoy that, so they decided to go for it, which is very different.
Totally.
Which is very different from making a whole film. So a lot of them thought it was too hard and eventually dropped off after the first year. There were many that dropped off, and it's almost like, yeah, there are obstacles every year. So in time, you get to just the people who are very into it get to stay and work hard. And also a very important thing that you have to learn from every film school is to make your own crew, to build and find the people you like to work with, you feel comfortable working with, and they are more or less in the same level as you are and share the same interest, because those contacts are going to be there for life. And for instance, I made my crew since the first year, and I've done all my my two films with the same crew in the 2 years, because I already trust them. I already know how to work with them, because there are a lot of kids who don't give a shit about your film, for instance. So they go to the set just to get a free meal. They don't work hard. They don't mind every detail. So it's up to you to find the people who are hardworking. So yeah, and what I enjoy also from the school is that it's not a campus university, of course, because it's New York City. So the school has many different buildings around Manhattan, and you have to move around the city to get into your classes, which is funny because every day it's different. You got to get out on the street and go to the building. You have to go to the west side, to the east side, get to your buildings and to your classes. And what I will also say about my school is that it's very focused on production, which is good, because sometimes, for instance, in comparison to NYU, they don't touch a camera until the second year, until they're ready. And at SVA, since year one, you're giving a camera and they tell you, go and make a film. So we're more based on the set, on the actual craft of filmmaking, rather than theory. like other schools, NYU, for instance, right? That's what I like about my school. However, it has its pros and cons, like every school in the world. But that's one thing I really appreciate from SVA is that they make us work on the set and they teach us that since day one, which is good.
Yeah, right. I also studied a minor in film in the USA also. And
Okay.
like you say, college, like college for people from America is like a testing point.
Yeah,
And for us foreigners, you go right into it. Like you go because you
exactly.
want to do it, so you put much more effort into it in the end.
Exactly. And you take it
But
more
yeah, man, yeah,
seriously.
exactly.
So you know what
Um,
what I'm talking about. Mhm.
yeah, but yeah, like in the end, like and like you say, you build your own crew. That all of my crew, for example, many of them weren't even film students. Like I went
Mhm.
to a business school, and many of them were finance students or but people who had a passion for film. So that's
Yeah,
very good to
that's
hear.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
The next question is, in film school, what is the most important thing you think you learned or you have learned until now?
Well, from my experience so far, like I said, every school would have its positive and negative things. And I feel in film school, it's more up to you to learn and squeeze everything you can from your school, from your teachers, and from your classmates. Because we are told that many great filmmakers didn't even go to film school. So it's not film school is not necessary uh, a path you have to follow to make in order to make a great film. There is no secret recipe to make a film. So film school is just one way to approach filmmaking, which I appreciate. And you have the tools there, you have the people, they have the contacts. It's up to you to talk to them, to go and ask for equipment, rent it out, experiment. And the way I see it too is that film school is a great way to mess up, to fuck up enormously, because as you probably know, the film industry is very strict and it's very delicate and there's a lot of money involved. So every little mistake can cost thousands and thousands of dollars.
Exactly.
So I would say film school is the perfect opportunity to mess up, to fail, and to learn from those mistakes, because better do them now while you're at school than do it in the industry and get fired after day one. So I can't say one school is better than the other because filmmaking is so objective, like I said. So it's up to the filmmaker itself to make a change and to gain all the knowledge you can by yourself. That's what I would say is the most important thing about film school. Yeah.
Excellent.
Thanks, man. And how do you see yourself in the future?
Well, I would love to be a writer director. That's what I would love to be, and produce eventually my own stuff too. I know it's a very hard path, and film is very competitive too. So I'm not just competing with the US, I'm competing worldwide. So, and it's a very delicate industry because yes, it's competitive, but it also depends on context, like many of us know, and and money. You know, I feel like you have one opportunity. For instance, I want to make feature films, not just short films or TV. I'm not very attracted to TV. I like to make, or I'd like to make feature films in the future, my own, write them and direct them. It's a very ambitious thing to say, I know, and a very naive thing to say as well, because it's hard. But I feel like the more I get into it, the more I enjoy it, and the more pressure I put on myself to achieve that goal, because I want to be there, despite the awards and fame, whatever that means. I just would like to make my own stuff for me and for the people who like my taste as well. So if everything goes right, I will be making feature films in the future.